Hand corner of the map Ohana, we have our purple Zerg player from Acer, the one and only Scarlet, and her opponent here in the top left-hand corner is our yellow Protoss player from Team Dignitas, Bishu.
All right, so Ohana's EVP. Let's talk about what may be. I mean, Zerg's taken 3 bases, pretty standard stuff on this map. Not going to be surprised by anything like that. Actually, this is a map where, who is it? Zenio. Zenio came up with the Baneling bust, where you grab a gas in your main. You still take the 3rd base. You take it at a perfectly standard time, and then you can actually Baneling bust your opponent, who's Protoss, and they're just not. You know, Protoss. Actually, everybody's kind of playing greedy right now. Yeah, greedy's like the thing to do.
I like it though because we start to see these really cool matches. I mean, we had in GSL the other day. It actually made the #1 play on our StarCrap episode. Yeah. We saw Happy actually go for an 11-11 racks against 3 hatch before pool, and it was held.
What?
Did you not? You've not seen our StarCraft episode? You have to go watch
No,
this.
I haven't seen it.
Tasteless and Artosis are sitting there commentating. They're like, yeah, there's just this is the worst build you could possibly go for against 11-11 racks. There's no possible way that Happy's going to lose this. Holds it with 3 hatch before pool.
I need to see this.
In the GSL.
This was this would have been played what last? So you said it was StarCraft, so it could have been last night.
Think.
Okay, yeah.
So, yeah,
because I've actually been keeping up with GSL ever since the beginning of this week. Moving out to San Francisco, man, it's quite a challenge, big endeavor. Yeah, lots of things you need to do. I've been wanting to watch as much games as I can, but it's been quite a challenge. So looks like we've got a drone here trying to make his way down to the natural expansion. Scarlet getting denied by Bishu's probe here for a second or 2 or 3 or 5. Yeah, and because Bishu went for that forge first, we'll probably see a pylon. There it is. And so he's going to try and delay this as long as possible. Because a lot more Protoss players have been going for the Nexus first, I've noticed that there's a lot less Zerg players that are tending to send out 2 drones. We used to see for a time when Protoss players would exclusively block with maybe not just 1 pylon, but also maybe a 2nd over at the 3rd. And you'd see, as we do see a 2nd drone coming out now, 2 drones sent out at the same time. That's something that Hyun was actually very fond of a couple of months ago. He's since stopped doing that because there's less and less pylon blocks. Yep. Yeah, pylon blocks, you know, in order to find out if something is really efficient or not, you need to try it for a while. You need to, you know, you can't just like try it 5 games and be like, this isn't working. I mean, if it's not working after 5 games, okay, you've already moved on. But for it to become like a significant part in the meta, it's got to be close to being better. And then people try it out for a couple of months and they realize, you know, the costs are really just not worth the benefits. And so we're not seeing as many pylon blocks anymore. Though there are still players who really get the advantage from it. But here's the Zerglings running by, almost gets that probe head. Doesn't get it.
That's right, but the Nexus is on the way now. Not really much that Scarlet can do to pressure the front anymore. We'll see what sort of build she decides to go for from here on out, but thus far, pretty standard game for us.
That's one of those probes that like has a near-death experience and then goes and does it again anyways.
Daredevil probe. This is the probe that jumps from orbit and lands down on a parachute. What was that guy's name? Darn, you didn't watch the jump from space?
Apparently I watched nothing, Kevin. No, wait, a jump from space? No,
yeah.
That's crazy.
Guy jumped from a suborbital. He was up at the very top of the atmosphere, suborbital, and jumped into...
That's crazy stuff, man.
Can't think of what his name is.
I'm nothing like that. I broke my back snowboarding. I haven't touched a snowboard. Well, I moved one the other day in my basement. I relocated it to a corner.
Good.
I've been snowboarded ever since.
Nice. Yeah. It reminds me of the one time.
Not a daredevil.
Reminds me of the one time I went skiing. And when I say the one time I went skiing, I mean I've been skiing once. And wow, this probe is actually going to die. Scarlet's not deciding to push through the front. So I went skiing, and the skiing part was fine. But then I tried to like hold the rope, the automated rope that like pulls you back up the smaller mountains, and actually fell off of that and almost broke my leg. So sprained it quite badly. Have no idea.
You didn't go again either. There you go.
Yeah, you did the skiing part fine, but riding the rope back up to the top, yeah, I failed at that. Anyway, so destructible rocks going down now as this photon cannon built in a nice position to be able to take advantage of that. Bishu, of course, he trapped this probe. He needs to mineral walk it out if he wants to truly get it out of there. Now it looks like he's going to turn it back around. 2 gas coming up for Scarlet about at the 35 drone mark, so everything is as normal as it could be.
Waiting for a Stargate or a Twilight Council here out of Bishu. He could also just be going for a super fast 3rd or a 7-gate. All those still possibilities. Definitely really, really late to be going for an Immortal Sentry push. That's not going to happen at this state. So, as I said, waiting on 7-gate 3rd, Twilight Council. Those are pretty much what Bishu's got. There's the Twilight Council.
All right, Twilight Council is coming up. We'll see what his tech path is going to be after this, but he's already produced a good number of Stalkers. He hasn't taken it. It was actually a very late 3rd and 4th gas, so it's not like we're going to see, I would imagine, at least we're not going to see any sort of DT play. Looks like he is just going to take that this 1 gate 3 Nexus build and start to power up some Nexuses after that.
No, it's nice. It's super greedy, but here's the thing, that Overlord, I mean, I don't think, did it get spotted? I'm pretty sure it didn't get seen by Bishu, and what that means is Scarlet now knows that Bishu's going for this super greedy 3rd, and Bishu doesn't know that Scarlet has this information. You always want to make the worst assumptions, you know, assume that there's an Overlord on the perimeter, but if Bishu were making that assumption, I would expect him to actually take the probe, and if you follow what I'm thinking here, Bishu would take that probe, he would run it around the edge to check for that Overlord, instead of just standing there. So I don't think he's actually taking that into account. But he is going to go for the really quick gateway wall, so going to try to play this as safe can be when you take an extremely greedy 3rd. Yeah, but he's got a nice little path here where you can get his units through. He full walls off the front. He's got photon cannons coming in for defense, so as long as, you know, Scarlet doesn't do anything that's designed to kill him right here, or she lets it go for a few minutes, he still will receive the benefit from it. Now, we have noticed that games on Ohana can tend to stabilize and move into very late game PvC, and it looks like, you know, barring the exception of some sort of a very, very strong, like, 13-minute attack out of either of these players, we're probably going to see this develop into a little bit longer macro game. Yeah, that definitely should be the case. I mean, Scarlet is making a lot of lings right now, but at the same time, she's droning as well. Dropping an Infestation Pit, teching up a lot, +1/+1, Galil Reconstitution. So a lot going on for Scarlet in terms of spending gas on things that are not going to translate to immediate usable units. And as such, well, it's no surprise she's grabbing this 4th base as well. And just really, her response right now to seeing Bishu go for this expand is, well, I'm just going to do the same then, sir. Yeah, and she wants that 7th and 8th gas right now, too, to take up. You mentioned before that she's spending a lot of gas on things that aren't going to have an immediate return, but she's building so that she can just put tons of those kind of units out there. And that's why Pathogen Glands are started. She already has enough gas for 3 Infestors, and that'll build up over the next couple of seconds. So a lot of units about to hit the field for Scarlet, but she can honestly go up to a pretty quick hive if she wants. Neither player is really positioning like they're going to do a huge amount of damage right away. All these Stalkers are actually trapped. They probably have to go through the pylons over here to the right. Now there's going to blink out. Yeah, and this is actually a good play by Scarlet that she's not going for Hive quite yet, because she doesn't know what Bishu's got going on behind these walls. We can see actually an Overseer, it looks like, just left the main base. What did it get vision of? It saw the Twilight Council, it saw the gateways inbound right now. So yeah, good play out of Scarlet, not because, you know, 5 Infestors on the way, lots of Zerglings, Pathogen, and 1/1 are all about to finish up. This actually, I mean, this is almost Scarlet's timing. This timing that Bishu's hitting at is a timing for Scarlet where she's got tons of upgrades about to wrap up. But maybe Bishu can make something happen before it, because you see it's another 10 seconds or so till 1/1. Yeah, but this is coming like, you know, 2 minutes past like a normal 7-gate Blink Stalker all in, something like that off a 2 base. This is the 3 base version with 8 gates, and Bishu is going to have a massive economy to fall back on, but he's still putting a lot of resources into fairly low-tech units, and he's not able to snipe out that hatchery to begin with. Yep, and now he's going to probably try to make a move for it, but it's really risky. Scarlet coming in with so many links. Fungal Growth's going to trap Kevin. Lots of damage being done right now to Bishu, and this is what you're talking about. Scarlet with a great timing here, it looks like, is going to be having to fall back, however. The link count just not high enough for the moment. Well, yeah, but I mean, she's reinforcing pretty well. She's got the rest of the Roaches making their way up too, so the Stalkers, they have done some damage. They're pinned in at the moment. She hasn't lost her hatchery quite yet. There are 54 Zerglings on the way, and this is going to be the moment. If Bishu can push in and do damage here, then he is going to be in a magnificent position. And he does take out that base. He's making nothing but Blink Stalkers from here on out. He has cut workers at 51. Yeah. I'm a little surprised that he's not at least continuing unit production, or not unit production, but his worker production and teching up just a bit back at home. Well, that at least makes things make sense. Scarlet now coming in, getting some damage in, which we would have expected earlier, but as you said, Bishu cutting probes let him make extra Stalkers. Scarlet, on the other hand, sitting at like 70-something. She's got a huge economy, but that's why we're just not seeing enough units. So although all these upgrades and such kicked in for her, she still lost that engagement because she has a huge economy, whereas Bishu is sitting on that very still kind of middle of the road.
All right, well, this is going to be quite the moment now for Scarlet. Bishu making his way up with +2 attacks, and that does allow him to cleave through these +1 Carapace Zerglings in just 2 shots. So pretty efficient units he's got on the field. Scarlet, though, just about to pop out 7 more Infestors, and she needs to be able to get those in right now, but unfortunately she doesn't get off the first couple of fungal growths. Can't get off that one. There it goes, finally hitting at the end. Scarlet going to come around from the back now, continue to do some damage here. The Stalker numbers are starting to slowly whittle, but Bishu still reinforcing up the front.
Yeah, this is just so incredibly powerful out of Bishu. I mean, I don't know how many gates he's running on right now. We didn't get a good glimpse at that. Yeah, I mean, the timing of this, as you said, a little bit later, but his reinforcement capabilities are positively out of control. With 3 bases worth of minerals, 2 bases worth of gas, Bishu, he's now going to be driven out, but he's done a lot of economic damage. We'll see if Scarlet's able to stabilize now. She's currently sitting on, she's going to have 2-2 here in a second for her Lings, which is going to really swing how these engagements go, but, well, she needs to get Lings on the field first.
Now, we have noticed that a lot of Protoss players have been favoring just mass gateway units recently. There's kind of been a switch back into that to reinforce continually with just very strong gateway units, and that's what we're seeing out of Bishu here. But, you know, like I said, if Scarlet finds a way to stabilize, she's miles ahead in tech, and she's going to have a pretty great ability to be able to sit back, take another base, and just macro back up once again.
Wow.
A lot of resources available to her in just minerals, so as soon as she repels this, expect to see a couple more hatcheries thrown down.
There you go, Kevin. I mean, Scarlet's going to hold this off. Bishu's supply is going to plummet below 70. Scarlet's going to be sitting comfortably at over 100. She can remake the drones at her third. She's going to be on saturated 3 base with 2-2 upgrades versus just a +2 Protoss who... I mean, Bishu's, you know, he's not dead or anything from here, but he wanted to do a little bit more than that. He wanted to get the drones at the third, and then could have been in a pretty good spot. But, I mean, Scarlet, if we take, how is actually her drone count? I want to see how many she lost, because she's actually making 9 right now. Okay, so Scarlet actually did lose a lot more economy than I'd thought, because, I mean, she's making a bunch of drones, and, yeah, now she drops the hatchery down. This is an interesting spot. You got Scarlet ahead in tech, and also in... I mean, miles ahead in tech, to be completely honest. Also ahead in upgrades, but doesn't have a larger economy right now.
But no robotics facility from Bishu yet, no Templar Archives, nothing along those lines, no Stargate, so it's going to be a very long while before Bishu's going to be able to match the tech of his opponent. And Scarlet, well, she's already got Hive Tech and a Spire on the way, working off of what's going to be 7 and 8 gas here in a second. I would still expect maybe that we're going to see another, at least attempt at a base being taken here in a second with the excess of minerals available.
You know what, I'm actually realizing Bishu's position and why it's so bad right now is because he is forced to tech at this time. Because he has to put money into tech, he can't put money into units. Scarlet can. That means that Bishu can't take a 4th. You've got Scarlet sitting with all these upgrades, all this tech. Bishu, who wants to go take a 4th base in the near future, but unfortunately, he's got to spend all this money, you know, progressing his tech path forward, and, well, he's going to fall behind in units while he does that. Scarlet's going to keep building up units. She's going to be able to set... I mean, she's already got that 4th base rolling at this stage. And, I mean, although, you know, the worker count paints Bishu not as far behind as you might expect here, his position's actually pretty dire.
Yeah, it really is. It looks like he's thinking about taking a 4th base here, but he has to cut one of those tech routes that we were talking about. So he's going for a Templar Archives, but still no Robo. We're 18 minutes into the game, not a hint of a Robo so far. So he's in the dark as to what his opponent is doing. He can assume that it's going to be some sort of aggressive high tech here in a bit, and we all obviously know that it's going to be Greater Spire here momentarily, but still, Scarlet's going to be able to pressure this 4th. There's nothing that Bishu's going to be able to do as far as establishing that. And now, I mean, what does he do? He has enough gas to make like 4 Templar right now. He's making a couple of Storms, but Blink Stalker is not going to hold this kind of a force.
Yeah, I mean, it's just... And, like, Scarlet's basically getting free 3-3 right now. She does not really have to worry about Bishu pressuring at all here. And that's actually, you know, a terrible position to be in as a Protoss player when you have no threat. I'm surprised to see Scarlet pushing this. You can see the Zerglings just can't do anything. But, yeah, I mean, Bishu, he, like, can't attack right now. And Scarlet knows this, so she's just like, I can do whatever I want. She's going for Broodlords. 3-3 on the way, taking a 5th base. She's in a beautiful spot right now. I mean, Bishu's going to need a fantastic engagement when he decides to finally move out.
All right, well, we'll see if he can get that. I mean, he's just trying to power up on as many units as he can right now. I mean, he certainly has a powerful enough army that he could delay the game for a bit and force Scarlet to maybe trade a couple waves of units. But, and again, I'm not saying all hope is lost. I'm not trying to be that guy. But Scarlet is in a magnificent position. I mean, Bishu could still get an absolutely perfect engagement, pressure the 4th, once again take his 4th, and then find himself not just on an equal army, but teching up as well. That's still quite a difficult goal. to get to, though.
I mean, Scarlet's not pulling that much gas right now, and she's got so many Zerglings. So if Bishu can land some really, really good storms and not get his army caught by fungals, I mean, he can definitely swing this around. How many games have we seen? You know, a Protoss just cleans up a Zerg force, and before they can remax, you push down their throat and kill them. And that's the type of thing that we're going to need to see from Bishu if he's going to win this game.
Well, he's moving up with a lot of charge lots and a lot of stalkers. The Templar are quite far behind, but they are getting a position. Storm hits a bunch of these infestors, actually manages to kill a couple of them too, but not nearly enough, and the Queens are there to actually transfuse up the rest of the forces. So the Zealots have all died. We're down to just a handful of stalkers now. The Archons and Templar are forced to retreat, and Scarlet still sitting on a pretty big force. And all the while, these Broodlords weren't even used this engagement. She's got these on top of what she just had.
She's not even showing them. She doesn't want Bishu to throw down that Stargate tech and start moving towards, you know, well, when you vortexed all my, because I, you know, neglected my Broodlords for one moment, I lose this game. So she was just hiding them, I think, and I mean, now she's got 1,500 gas. She can really do whatever she wants. I think Scarlet's going to take the offensive, and I don't know if Bishu's going to be able to hold this. This is a massive army.
All right, well, these High Templar do not have enough for storms. Everything gets fungled in position. That's GG. Scarlet is taking game number 1 for Acer here in this best of 9.
A super impressive game there out of Scarlet. I mean, played really, really clean, held that. I mean, you called it all in out of Bishu. Yeah, it was on 3 bases, but and you know, a lot of times people, you want to be like, oh, it's 3 bases. It's not an all-in.
Yeah. Well, that's a lot of people make that mistake. A lot of people say, you know, oh, he obviously could fall back to a lot of workers and everything like that, but you can put yourself tech all-in too, and that's what we saw out of Bishu. He just had no ability to match his opponent's units. No Robotech the entire game. Super late to Templar. Had no ability to get those out in mass. We only saw 2 Archons and 4 Templar the entire game. Other than that, it was just Blink Stalkers and Charge Lots, and I'm sorry, that's not going to do it against Infestor Broodlord.
Not at all.
All right. Well, that's game number 1 in the bag. We're going to head to game number 2 in just a second. As a reminder to everyone, though, we are giving away 5 sets of VIP tickets on IGN.com/IPL giveaways right now. So head on over there because you can win one of 5 prize packages. Each one comes with 2 VIP tickets, 2 IPL swag bags. So again, IGN.com/IPL giveaways. And I do want to give a big shout out. We actually had a visitor in the IGN offices the past couple of days who is coming out to IPL 5, who will actually, well, the reason he's coming out to IPL 5 is because he won our t-shirt design contest, and that's
pretty cool shirt.
It is. It's, well, it got my face on it, so I'm biased, but, you know. And that was actually designed by Kyung-sun Orr, and great guy, and was actually around San Francisco interviewing, so we definitely want to give him the best of luck in his interviews, and thank him very much for entering and then winning that t-shirt design contest. You'll see him out at IPL 5 and have a chance to purchase his shirt.
Yep.
Boom.
His Zerg's pretty good, too.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Yes, it is.
You could take some lessons from him.
Yeah.
I'd say that.
So I don't play, so I've never played Zerg at all. Terran and Protoss, that's all I've played.
Yeah.
So, although I did, well, anyway, we'll talk about this in a bit. We're going to run to a commercial break right now, and we'll come back after this to have game number 2, which is going to be Scarlet versus Dignitas Dream.